Yo, how we doing, everybody? We have got a freaking bucket load to get through today. Just bear with me 2 minutes. I'll be right with you. All right. Bit of a mad one today. Like we've got to cover a couple of things. So let's just jump into it. So we've got the second part of Sasha's story, right? We've got to listen to like 25 minutes of that. But the Clintons, right, are being subpoenaed right now. Right, I've been watching this. It's complete bonkers, and I just want you to watch the first little bit of this. Right, when they actually start talking. Hang on. Oh.
An influence to shield himself
Here we go.
from scrutiny. Their testimony may also inform how Congress can strengthen laws
Right, so quiet.
to better combat human trafficking.
All right, hang on.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
You all need to hear
All right,
this.
The committee will please come to order. A quorum is present.
This is crazy.
Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess at any time. Pursuant to Committee Rule 5B and House Rule 11, Clause 2, the chair may postpone further proceedings today on the question of approving any measure or matter or adopting an amendment on which a recorded vote or the yeas and nays are ordered. The committee will continue to use the electronic system for recorded votes on amendments and passage of the bills before the committee. Of course, should any technical issues arise, which I do
Some
not
yada yada
anticipate,
going on
we
here.
will immediately transition to traditional roll call votes. Any procedural or motion-related votes during today's markup will be dispensed with by a traditional roll call vote. Now, pursuant to notice, I call up a report containing a resolution recommending that the House of Representatives find former President William J. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a duly issued subpoena issued by this committee. The clerk will report the report, which has been distributed in advance.
A report containing a House resolution recommending that the House of Representatives find former President William J. Clinton
Wait to hear arguments from both sides. It's wild.
in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a duly issued subpoena issued by the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform.
I ask unanimous consent that the report be considered as read and open for amendment at any point without objection.
You guys hear this
so
okay,
ordered.
yeah?
The chair recognizes himself to offer an amendment in the nature of a substitute. The clerk will please report the amendment.
An amendment in the nature of a substitute to the contempt report is offered by Mr. Comer of Kentucky.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read, and the substitute will be considered as original text for the purposes of further amendment.
Okay, just get
Now
to the fucking
recognize
point.
myself
While they're
for
waffling.
5
How we doing,
minutes of
Helena?
statement on the report.
Ziza, Lynn, what's happening?
Today, the House
Mandy,
Committee on
Harry
Oversight
7,
and
thank you very
Government
much for the
to
support,
advance
my
two
G. Monica,
resolutions
what's
recommending the
happening?
House of Representatives
Let's go.
find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply
Okay, yeah, it's their actual stream.
with duly issued subpoenas. The committee does not
Yeah,
take the
because,
second
yeah, I'm
light,
very loud. Hang on.
but subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require compliance. Former President Clinton and Secretary Clinton were legally required to appear for depositions before this committee. They refused. As Democrat Ranking Member Garcia stated, and I quote, Defying a congressional subpoena is highly illegal, end quote. He also stated, and I quote, "No one is above the law." Actions have consequences. 6 months ago, Republicans and Democrats on the House Oversight Committee's Federal Law Enforcement Subcommittee unanimously approved deposition subpoenas for the Clintons by voice vote as part of our investigation into the federal government's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell criminal cases. More than 5 months ago, I issued those bipartisan subpoenas. The Clintons' testimony is critical to understanding Epstein's sex trafficking network and the ways he sought to curry favor and influence to shield himself from scrutiny. Their testimony may also inform how Congress can strengthen laws to better combat human trafficking. Since issuing the subpoenas, this committee has acted in good faith. We've offered flexibility on scheduling. The response we received was not cooperation, but defiance, marked by repeated delays, excuses, and obstruction. The Clintons claim they have been treated unfairly because this committee accepted written statements under penalty of perjury from former U.S. Attorneys General Holder, Lynch, Sessions, and Garland.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my goddamn chat box, but I can't get my chat box to work.
Those written statements were accepted because none of those officials recalled information relevant to the Epstein investigation, nor did they have personal relationships with Epstein. By contrast, the committee required in-person testimony from former U.S. Attorney General Barr and former U.S. Secretary of Labor and U.S. Attorney Acosta, both Republicans.
We're just starting out, everybody, with the opening part of this Clinton's deposition, or whatever the hell it is. Their House moves to hold Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt for defying subpoenas.
Flight log records, wedding invitations, and other materials. Some of these photos can be seen here. We repeatedly informed the Clintons' attorney that written statements would not be accepted. The subpoenas required depositions. Federal courts have consistently held that witnesses may not impose their own conditions upon the matter of congressional inquiry.
Congressman Andy Biggs.
Yet the Clintons attempted to do exactly that, submitting brief, bulleted written statements that are neither comprehensive nor responsive to the committee's many unanswered questions. No witness, not a former president or a private citizen, may willfully defy a duly issued congressional subpoena without consequence.
Yeah, this is wild. They basically go on to argue, hang on a second, from both sides, that the Clintons are in complete and utter defiance of the subpoenas, and the other side are arguing that the Trump administration hasn't released the Epstein files, and there's this loggerheads going on between what the actual context of the questions that people want to ask the Clintons are about, and why the Epstein files haven't been released. And I think it's quite. It's worth you guys going and watching this. I've been glued to this for the last hour and a half. I would strongly suggest you go and check it out. But we may come back to this at the end, but we've just got way too much to get through. Also, after this live stream, you'll get a notification. I will be live with Dr. Joy, looking into AI and will it control mankind. It's going to be kind of sick. We've also got Bongo, the tiny dog here. He's new to obviously the new office layout, as you can see, very high tech. But we need to talk about Donald Trump as well today, right? Is that a real room? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm giving myself a John Cena.
And his name is John Cena!
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, listen, geez. Just pay attention. There's going to be a lot of things that appear in the background of here that you want to just like pay attention to. Here's some of the Epstein files. Here we go. Now, I need to talk to you about, first of all, I need to get my show notes because we're doing this professionally. Yesterday's stream got hit with a few shenanigans, shall we say, involving copyright. So there's a couple of things that I just want to re-show. And one of them is the alleged letter from... That's the wrong button, mate. That's because you're in the wrong set of stages. There we go. This one. Nice one. Make this bigger for y'all. To whom it may concern, this is meant to have been the letter from Trump's doctor prior to him taking office. Is he competent to serve shenanigans? And again, this is an unconfirmed post on Twitter. And this is, again, from the doctor. So if we look here, Harold N. Bornstein, Dr. Bornstein had his office raided in 2017 where officials took all of Trump's medical records. He later passed away in 2021 due to undisclosed reasons. Unconfirmed stuff. But it's quite relevant when we start delving in to questioning Trump in this narrative. And a lot of you are probably... I'm here to get to the bottom of truth and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I couldn't give a shizniz at all about presidents or anyone. It's the truth. Okay, Bongo Dog agrees. Yes. So I want to watch the first 20 minutes of this where William goes, or Sasha goes into details about his first encounter with Trump, the death of his friend, the fear tactics, and then we're just going to go and have a little look into the history of Mr. Trump, because it gets a little bit interesting. I'm going to try and shut up throughout all of this, so please can we like and share. I am slowly on the grind building this channel back up, and I would really appreciate all of your help. Okay, so just do it. Thank you. Thank you, please. Thank you, please. And also, I need to figure out why the chat box isn't working and why the alerts and stuff aren't working. So yeah, we'll get to that. So let's begin this. Let me know you guys can hear it, and we'll crack on.
To kind of recap what we were just talking about, one of the first memories, or one of the first memories that seared itself into my consciousness because of being what I perceived as a threat as a child, was watching Donald Trump kill a litter of puppies. He did it in a variety of ways. As I stood there, they made me stand there, and he would harm or kill the puppy and then look to see what my reaction was. And in my child's brain, that registered because I viewed him as somebody more dangerous than my parents, and I knew that they would hurt me. So in my ability to reason, my reasoning was if they were worse people than my parents, that they were somebody that might kill me. So that is why he was so... That's why I most of the stuff I just tried to forget. But with him, with Andy, and with Jim, I remembered them because they, the truth is, they scared me.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to summarize a bit about what we had discussed that wasn't recorded. So with Trump, when Trump murdered the puppies and forced you to watch, you were 8 or 9 years old. That was your first remembrance of Trump. And had Trump sexually assaulted?
So it's been clarified that when yesterday was referred to as an adult and he had aged out of the PDF ring, he was 13. Okay, that's just so you know, that's when his father said he was a man now.
Assaulted and tortured you already?
Maybe, but I don't recall. I think what happened, and I I'm relatively certain, but I think that was the precursor to him sexually assaulting me.
So
I think that was in an effort to make the experience as brutal as possible for me. That was the same kind of MO that was used with Patricia later on.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed to be that he would use his imagination as such to try to figure out what ways would be the most traumatic, to make the most traumatic experience, to destroy somebody, kind of traumatize somebody to the maximum potential possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first template of that, was watching him kill those puppies. And then the next higher order of that, and I couldn't tell you exactly how much time passed between, but I would say likely a couple of years, or at least a year later, before the instance with Patricia.
Okay. And the incident with Patricia
And
was when...
at that point, I had already, in my mind, I had already thought, there's no way I'm going to live through this anyway. They're just going to torture me to death anyway. So I might as well do everything I can to fight back.
Okay. And so with the incident with Patricia, then recapping, they told you to go into another room with Patricia. There was film? They were filming?
No.
There wasn't filming in such a case?
What happened with me and Patricia, my dad, before we got to the party, said, hey, there may be somebody you know. I had been trafficked with her previously.
Yeah.
But she and I were as close to being friends as you could be. We were, in the same boat as far as, our station in life. So we had kind of become friends, and she ran up to me, and I can remember she's saying, hey, come go with me. And I said, I can't. And my dad said, no, it's okay. You guys go off and have fun. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you can go just have fun. You're an adult now. And
13.
I can remember thinking in my mind, I was wondering, what happens next? And the only thing that I knew of really of being an adult was my dad. And I knew that he didn't go to these parties and get assaulted. So in my mind, I thought, well, maybe that part of my life is over. But anyway, we left. We wound up going into the farmhouse. We went into the room not at the behest of anybody else. She wanted to have sex with me because she knew I wouldn't hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I wouldn't swear to this part, but I am relatively certain she and I had already made some movies together, off, not at the farm, but at a shoot. But
Oh, Paula's waiting on my ass getting back in touch with her. Trust me, there's lots of Paula coming. Don't worry.
I didn't have sex in a way that brutalized people, because I kind of knew how that felt. So it was a matter of her kind of choosing somebody to try to go have sex with, so she wouldn't be placing her life in danger by having sex with one of these rich guys. So we went in and started having sex. This was not in front of anybody. It wasn't filmed that I know of. It was just, we kind of, if we were going to have the opportunity to go have sex with somebody, we were going to go have sex with each other, because
that's right.
That in that instance, neither of us would get hurt. Mm-hmm. But while we were in that room, after some period of time, the people at that party busted in. 5, 6, 8, maybe people, big people, adults. At least one of them had a gun. I think 3 or 4 of them had a gun, to be honest with you. But then they assaulted her with me at gunpoint, and then they killed her in front of me. Mm-hmm. And said, that's what's going to happen to you if you don't do everything the next person that walks in this room what they want.
Do you think they knew Trump was going to walk in the room? Do you think they had premeditated that Trump would walk in the room next?
Good to see you, mate.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was just part of the experience for him, to traumatize me. And for all I know, he was watching through a crack in the wall. I don't know about that.
So
but
like an
he was the
escalation
next
from the
person to walk in.
puppies.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Trump would traumatize you first and then sexually assault you. There was the incident when
Yes.
Trump murdered the puppies and forced you to watch. And then the incident when
Yeah.
Trump had Patricia killed.
Yes.
Okay. And then that's the incident with Patricia we spoke about where Trump assaulted you, tortured you, and then Trump wanted you to engage in sex with Trump, and you found the tent peg.
Okay, this is where, again, the person interviewing starts saying some wild stuff.
And got a condom on, and then inserted the condom in Trump's anus, just
And kicked it as hard as I could.
and kicked as hard as you
Yes.
could. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my
Understandable.
plan was to continue hurting him to death, but as soon as I did that, he started screaming, and those same people busted back in.
How you doing, Bacon Mate?
So
And then what occurred?
my dad was at that party, obviously not in that room. It was just these other people, but we did not get assaulted or anything at that party. They didn't know what to do at that point. So we left. We didn't get beat up. I didn't get further assaulted by anyone, but some period of time passed, a week, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. I couldn't tell you how much time, but I can remember my dad saying, "We've got to go face the music." So, I can remember him talking to me like I had done something wrong. He said, "You can't do that to the rich people. You're going to get beat up," is basically what he said. He said, "You've been beat up before. It's going to be just like that. You'll be okay." But I can remember him saying, "You can't fight back or they'll kill us both."
Mm-hmm. And that's when you were taken to the farm, and then 6 or 8,
Yes.
maybe 10 different groups assaulted
it wasn't
and tortured
individual.
you.
This is like,
This is him going on to talk about his punishment that he received for what he done to Donald Trump. And it's pretty wild. Hang on a second. That's better.
yeah, it was at least 3 or 4 or 5 people at a time in these groups, because I think by that time,
I was actually talking about the farm thing the other day to Sean, and pigs are a massive part of getting rid of children's bodies. Maybe not at the elite level, okay, because of budgetary reasons, but from the grassroots level, the people you bump into in the streets, it's quite horrific to think how many bodies have been disposed of with pigs. Rattle through them, mate. It's scary.
point, I had done what I did to Trump. They knew that I was kind of in a homicidal type of rage, so they made sure to have enough people that they felt safe, because also my dad could fight too, and he was there.
I think there's a couple of things you need to do to the body prior to giving it to the pigs. I think the teeth all need to come out. Possibly teeth and hair and maybe fingernails, something to do with the digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
So they had, in each of these little groups, they had enough that they felt that I'm sure that they could overpower both me and my dad, because my dad's no slouch either. I could fight like a little Wolverine even as a child because of how I came up. Well, he was a bare-knuckle boxer and a tough man type of dude, so he could fight too. But it was like they took us from station to station, to I don't know, just to increase the horror of it, I guess. I really
Premeditated. Seems like premeditated. Like,
well,
what I know
yeah,
of
like-
Trump is
like
that
some-
Trump would attempt to premeditatedly stage such a scene to terrorize you retaliatorily.
Yes. Yes.
So
So he wasn't there at that. I would
Yeah.
assume that it was a close enough time frame that he was still recovering.
yeah,
But I can remember that even my dad having the conversation with the people because of the level that they had kind of taken it to get me to that homicidal rage. I remember my dad arguing that it was unreasonable. He said,
You think that sound's coming from me? Do you honestly think I would have a tumble dryer sound on? I think it's the air conditioning in the back of one of these videos. A lot of Americans have air conditioning, and it does sound like exactly what you said there. So it's not me, mate.
this is just what happens when you push somebody far enough,
You Goomba! How dare you!
so then they
Type of an argument.
So then they took you to different locations, several groups at a time, tortured and assaulted you sexually, and then at one point you said they hosed you off with a garden hose. And what did they say again to your dad? That you were dirty and to hose you off?
They just they said he's disgusting. Just take a garden hose to him or something. And somebody went inside the house and got a bar of soap. And I remember they threw it at me and hit me in the head, and that they all thought that was funny. And I was struggling because I had to get the soap from the ground, and I can remember being hit to the point where I was just having trouble grasping the soap. Not just from a standpoint of like being able to see it, but like from the coordination aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'd been hit in the head and body and everything so much that I even had difficulty in getting the soap. So they made me like take a shower while they stood there with the garden hose just hosing me off. And I can remember getting really cold from that. But then it wasn't over. That would have been about the halfway point.
And you said it was sexual assault followed by beatings in all of those cases.
Yes. Some people didn't even want to sexually assault me. Some people just wanted to beat the hell out of me. So not all of them, they got to do whatever they wanted, but with all of the different people, it included some sort of physical assault, physical and sexual.
So the primary objective of the people there was mainly the physical assaults, and the other kind of assault was secondary. That's key to note.
Assault or just the physical. There weren't any instances of just sexual assault. It was around causing damage to me, and towards the end of it, I can remember my dad saying he can't take anymore. He's going to die.
Yeah.
And, at that point, he had, drugged me, because I couldn't walk or anything, to one of the groups. And they said, if he can't take any more, it's not over with. You're going to have to take the rest of it. And he said, fine, because I'm going to go to jail to kill him. So they beat the absolute hell out of him, too.
Okay.
I can remember my dad kind of carried me away from the last, group of people, and I think he had to change clothes or something for me, and it took a while, 30 minutes or something, but I finally got through enough I could breathe and everything, to where I walked out of there with help.
And then is that when they took you to Andy Biggs? Or Andy Biggs tortured and raped you?
Not immediately thereafter, but another week or two passed, or maybe a month, week, two, whatever. I was healed as far as my most of my bruises and stuff like that from the first farm incident by the time I went to Andy Biggs. And of the physical assaults, it was the worst. He kept beating me until my ribs were broken. I was turning blue, convulsing. If you get beaten enough, as you try to breathe, you just kind of click. I can't describe it any other way than that. It's not even a wheeze or anything, but your your like diaphragm or something locks up and you just start clicking. Some people call that like the death rattle.
Yeah.
But that's the point to which he beat me, to where when I would try to breathe, my chest would just make this clicking noise. And I don't know how to describe it any
you
other
described
way,
that extremely, extremely clearly. Like I say, I appreciate your forthrightness. Now, you and I had spoken, and you said that your dad told you that after the incident with Andy Biggs that...
So his dad, it was actually his foster dad, had a pilot license for almost any aircraft. And that's how he got involved with these people, because he was the international shipping service for these kids. Grim.
That your dad said that Trump and Trump's associates said that whatever debt they thought you owed because you fought back against Trump, that the debt was paid, and the debt was you getting raped and beaten brutally by all those individuals, including Andy Biggs.
Yes.
And then you said that you don't recall attending any more parties
I don't think so, Fifi. I'll look into that for you, though.
after that, and you weren't sure if it was because they thought you aged out because you were 12 or 13, or whether they just thought you were too much of a hassle, like they could get caught.
I think all of that came into play, yes.
Or they might wanted to behave vindictive towards your dad about whatever money your dad was earning. Do you think that?
I couldn't speak to any of that part of it. I'm not even sure like the financial arrangements or anything like that.
Yeah.
I can remember that when they sent me to the brothel, that they were upset that they didn't make more money, and then I can remember Lynn being absolutely furious because they were going to get this big payday from doing the child porn in Tennessee, but they wound up losing money on the deal because they got stiffed by whoever bought the film when it was done, and they had to spend, I think, some money on a lawyer, so it was a net loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
It was something to do with like the film wasn't as long as what they agreed to pay money for, so they didn't make as much, and you know. So,
but the films.
I just remember them being upset.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the filming, most of the filming, the parties was all associated with Trump and the Trump Epstein Ghislaine pedophile ring. Different layers of parties.
Yeah, but it's a whole bunch of people. It's just that from my childhood perspective, what I saw or what I thought that I saw was he was the big boss. Donald Trump was the big boss, and then Epstein was like you said, like the manager or something. And then you had lower level people like my dad that kind of went out and found girls or coordinated, at the ground level of things. Yeah.
So in terms of
even Epstein himself, he just sought out people like my dad that would sell, their adopted child, their actual child, or whatever. So those are the different layers of people.
And we know those people exist.
Yeah. But that Trump was involved in a lot of the planning.
I'm sorry, you keep getting what, Kaza?
Micromanaging.
Those are targeted ads. So
filming.
Certainly the payouts.
Yeah.
Because I know that when I was offered to Trump, the excitement that was in the house from Lynn, particularly, was that this is going to be the big payday. We have made it up to the highest level of this thing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would sell me at a lower level to people that they knew. Not this is outside of the parties, but obviously they don't have the type of money that these rich folks have, so that wasn't really a big payday, and they were nervous about taking that kind of money because they were expecting this large amount of risk for very really little amount of reward. And they were excited to make it to the level of Donald Trump because I think the payday that they were supposed to get was $25,000. It may have been another sum, but that's just the sum that I remember. And that may not sound like a lot, especially today, but for our less standard of living, that would have been a fairly sizable chunk of money.
And and we spoke about in terms of the years when you were about 9 to 10 years old, maybe 8 years old, until about 13. And most of the parties, there were only 3 or 4 kids there. Sometimes only you.
Yes.
And it was
They would
sort of the different.
Always have, and they would almost always have at least one girl there. So I'm sure that the mentality of that would be, to have a boy or a girl to choose from. And there may have been children at these parties that were in attendance that I just didn't see because I was being abused, in like a bedroom of the farmhouse or some other location. And there could have been more people there. I can't really say exactly that. You get kind of just from a standpoint.
All right. So I wanted you guys to hear the part about Donald Trump. The way that Sasha was describing the fear, the puppies, the murder of this girl, his assault on Trump. My hair is just having a laugh to itself today. It was quite graphic, disturbing, obviously. But when it comes to these sort of testimonies where we haven't got the facts, it's important that we try and find out as much as we can. And there's a website called Factually. So we're going to see what Factually has to say about this. 1 second. What data supports Sasha Riley's claims of trafficking an essay by Trump? Executive summary. Sasha Riley has publicly alleged that he was trafficked and essayed as a child and has named powerful individuals, including Donald Trump. These allegations are circling social media, but according to available reporting, have not resulted in public criminal charges or verified law enforcement action tied to Riley's specific claims. The material supporting Riley's account of the public record consists primarily of his own testimony and reposted social media commentary calls released of related Epstein-era documents and contextual reporting about other allegations linking Trump to ethnic misconduct and the Jeffrey Epstein network. Okay, what Riley himself has put on record. Riley claims that hang on a second, I'll make this a bit bigger for you guys. There we go. In fact, I can make it even bigger. That's probably too big. All right. Riley's claims exist in public posts and testimony that have been amplified on platforms like Threads. Multiple posts recount that Riley says he was trafficked as a child, that he named individuals including Trump, and that his testimony has been shared with congressional oversight entities. As relayed by social posts and summaries of Riley's testimony, reporting available in the provided sources does not include the full public transcript or independent release of a corroborating documents tied directly to Riley in the mainstream outlets. So primary data in the public sphere right now is Riley's own statements and user reactions to them. Documentary evidence sought or referred by supporters. Supporters of the commentators have called for the release of the Epstein-era materials, flight logs, police reports, polygraphs, and medical records that they say could corroborate Riley's allegations. A repeated refrain in social media posts urging official disclosure and forensic review of the Epstein properties. The reporting provided indicates that these calls exist, but wait a second. The reporting indicates these calls exist, but does not show that such documents tied specifically to Riley have been produced publicly or authenticated in independent journalists within the supplied sources. How Riley's claims intersect with the broader Epstein-Trump reporting landscape. All right, let's check this out. Independent reporting of the timelines compiled by outlets have documented multiple women's allegations that connect Epstein to encounters involving Trump. We're going to look at that ourselves, actually, and have catalogued a broader pattern of allegations against Trump, including civil verdict finding him liable for SA in one case, E. Jean Carroll. And in other accusers who name Epstein as the connective figure, those materials establish a background in which claims of trafficking connected to Epstein and allegations of Trump's sexual misconduct circulate, but they do not in the material confirm Riley's specific allegations. What independent verification is currently missing? Summarized in the sources, there has been no public law enforcement statement or court filing that criminal charges or official substantiates Riley's allegations against named individuals, and the named parties have not issued public variable responses documented in the provided reporting. Calls on social media to confirm Riley's file by releasing Epstein-related evidence underscore however much of the public discussion hinges on access to the records that have not been shown in the sources. Alternative interpretations and possible agendas. Commentary around Riley's statements range from expressions of belief and demands for justice to warnings about unverified claims. And everyone needs to keep all this in mind, right? We really do. But we're going to look at some other stuff in a minute. Social posts amplify emotional response and political framing, with some commentators linking Riley's accusations to partisan aims such as pressing for accountability or undermining a political figure. Media outlets that have covered related allegations against Trump and his nominees frame the larger pattern of accusations in the public arena, which shape perception even where direct evidentiary chain for a particular claimant is not publicly documented. Bottom line, what the available data actually supports. The available source material shows that Sasha Riley has publicly alleged, oh yeah, we know this, continue independence. Okay, so Riley talks a lot about incidents where his father had the police involved because of the injuries that Sasha had endured, the amount of times that his stepfather tried to unalive him. There were some of those that were documented, and surely that's going to be a place where we can get some sense of these historical reports, right? I mean, that somebody's going to be able to take a peep, right? Everybody okay? Everybody all right out there? Yeah? Tumble dryer alert. You guys can hear a tumble dryer. Oh, wait. There you go. Okay, my bad. My bad. That'll be on every single one of these pages. Hang on a second. Hang on. It's actually Mac's soundtrack on Mac's twerking video that you can hear, which I forgot to mute. So big shout out to Mac and his twerking. You can see him. You can see him kind of right here. Wait for it. Like, do you see right at the back of the screen, like at the back of the room, on the back wall, there's a monitor with what looks like a security guard twerking. That's Mac. So if you've heard that for the entire live stream, I apologize. And it turns out I'm not a professional, and Kaz was right. Okay? Yeah, he's right up here. He's doing his thing. You just leave him be. So with there's got to be there was criminal reports made. That has to be a place where people can start. Someone's going to be able to take a peek. I mean, it's not a case of airing it to the world. It's a case of confirm or denying it, right? Okay, the son of William Kyle Riley, Sasha Riley. Available reporting on social media investigating threads asserted that Sasha Riley is the son, or at least a close relative adopted child, of a man identified publicly as William Kyle Riley. But those claims rest primarily on user-generated threads, people search listings, and anecdotal confirmations rather than independent traditional reporting. There is corroborating but indirect evidence, obituary mentions, white pages, relations listings, and multiple thread posts that link the names together, and there are sufficient gaps. There are significant gaps and potential for misinterpretation in the public record that make the relationships plausible but not definitely proven on the material provided. Okay, interesting. All right, hang on. Yeah, I want to read through this. Give me a second. All right. Everybody wave at Bongo as well. He gets bored. Okay, who is being discussed? Sasha Riley's name's testimony. Sasha Riley also... Okay, we've just read that part. Did we just read that part? No. Sasha Riley also... William... Okay, Riley is represented in several social media threads as a survivor who's been giving testimony alleging trafficking and other crimes. Multiple posters describe listening to his testimony and finding it consistent and credible. His testimony sounds consistent and credible. It was the interviewer that was throwing me off. I believe that Riley was adopted and he does know the whereabouts of his real parents, but his parents don't know. He's not contacted them yet, if that makes sense. These community accounts frame Sasha as someone who uses different names and who has publicly recounted traumatic experiences tied to high-profile network. But the documentation offered in the collected sources is testimony-centered and not corroborated by independent news outlet. Okay. So I'm guessing from what was said there, he must have mentioned, without naming anyone, this, but maybe he hasn't. I mean, the beginning of Riley's story about how all this came to fruition was there was a soldier at his army base who had been caught with CSAM, child abuse material, on his phone or his computer, right? And one of the senior officers who had to watch to confirm what was on the computer recognized Riley as a child from this and asked him if it was him. And that's how people started to know the story, which is freaking wild. What the available sources say about William Kyle Riley, because another thing, surely we can find out if the guy who was discharged or moved, and he does name him. We can check his. There's got to be record of if he was discharged or dishonorably discharged or something, right? The former military figure who is in the adoptive or biological father of Sasha posts excerpts William Kyle Riley appears in public record, follows public figures on social platforms, and is mentioned in family obituary that also references Sasha or related family members. People search services like white pages list for people named Sasha Riley and included William Riley among related names, which users cite as circumstantial evidence trying the two names together. Multiple independent posters of the thread say the located obituaries are family records referring to a Riley family in Georgia that include a father figure who was a pilot, which they interpret as corroboration of the father-son claim. Interesting. What time are we at? Okay, we've still got plenty of time. Strengths of the link and the evidentiary weaknesses. The converging signals, social posts reporting independent searches, a People Search entry listing William Riley among relatives for Sasha Riley, and poster references to a Georgia obituary and father with a pilot background create a plausible hypothesis that Sasha is related to William Kyle Riley, but these are circumstantial and user source findings rather than primary documented. Okay. Crucially, none of the provided sources supply a definitive public record document, birth certificate, court filing, or mainstream investigative story that explicitly and authoritatively establishes the parent-child legal partnership. Because here's the thing as well, right? If you're an evil son of a bitch who plans to traffic their child around the place, the fucking last thing you're going to do is tell that kid their real fucking name. Like, hello. You know? Imagine if it had went through the courts, or there had been something, and you know the kid's real name came to the discovery. But you know, the Sasha Riley could have never have known his real name. So would that not mean all of his birth records would be under a different name? You know what I'm saying? Because it makes sense to me, if you're going to steal a bunch of kids, probably best not to call them by their actual names. I'm just saying. Okay. Mentioned in their consent content. The threads also show potential for confirmation of multiple men named William or Bill Riley across records and mentions, in which is a common pitfall when assembling identities for social media sleuthing. Alternative interpretations, agendas, and why caution matters. Alternative possibilities constant with the source material include misattribution, adoption or name changes, user reports adoptive father, and the name variations, and the risk that social media amplification has merged separate records into a single narrative. Posters display confirmation bias by highlighting social signals like following lists on Facebook as proof. Some voices in the thread are advocacy orientated and explicitly supportive of Sasha's testimony, which can create an agenda of rapidly fill evidentiary gaps with suggestive connections. That is so fucking true. Okay? Like, it's tough for some people to hear, you know, because we want to believe every survivor story, right? And wait, are you still getting that noise? No. Okay. Like, it's crazy. You know, we don't want to think that someone's sitting there being used as a puppet or these sort of stories. Given these dynamics and the absence of authoritative public documentation in the provided material, the reasonable conclusion is that the claim Sasha Riley is the son or adopted child of William K. Riley is supported by multiple user-led sources, public record aggregators, but not conclusively proven by sources supplied here. Okay. So, let's get some freaking music on as well. Just for a smidgen. Just a wee smidgeroony. Just a little like, ooh, what's that you're putting in there? Just a small aperitif. All right. So, what are y'all thinking? Like, where's your head at with what Sasha's saying? Because let's play a little game, right? Let's play a little game of... Hang on. We're going to play a little game called What If It Was Rodney, right? What if it was Rodney? Rodney! What if it was Rodney? Hell yeah. All right, what if it was fucking Rodney, right? What if it was Rodney down the cafe that this guy was talking of, right? You'd be like, we should probably look into Rodney from the cafe, right? Because if Rodney from the cafe has a clean record, has never had any accusations like this, we've kind of got to wait for the evidence, right? We can't just pin it all on someone who's got like a clean fucking history, yo. You know what I'm saying? What do you think, Bongo? Yeah? Yeah. So, let's take a look at what Donald Trump's been accused of. This is fucking mad, by the way. All right, so this is fucking bonkers. So I went to old Chattius GPS right? And I said, yo, listen, we got to talk about this. List the public records of Epstein victims or victims connected to Trump and also victims of abuse from assault from Donald Trump. That's what I asked. Okay. So then it gives us a wee summary here of the Epstein victims. All right. Bit more Epstein stuff. All right. And then you get this. Public records and reporting of Donald Trump's abuse allegations. There is no verified, credible public records confirming Donald Trump as a perpetrator in the Jeopardy Epstein sex trafficking case, or that he was criminally implicated by prosecutors in the Epstein crimes. Multiple fact checks and public releases have not sustained claims that Trump was allegedly charged or found guilty by any Epstein cases. Okay? So no charges, nada. Okay? So keep that in mind. Independent public allegations. Independent public allegations against Trump, not connected to Epstein. Okay? Not connected to Epstein. Buckle the fuck up. Okay, buckle. In fact, where's that fucking banger? Just buckle up. Because this is fucking mad. This is the guy that's got, this is mad. Okay. So this is the first response I got from ChatGPT. Verified in court documented cases, E. Jean Carroll sued Trump over an alleged assault in the mid-90s. New York jury found Trump liable for essay and defamation. Civil awarded damages. Okay? So it's very much like the Conor McGregor case, I would imagine, right? Where it's not criminal court, it's civil court. They're two different things. Not that I'm saying he's not guilty of that. I'm just saying they're two different things. Okay? Right, where's the coffee? Okay. Jessica Leeds alleged groping on a flight in the 1970s. Rachel Cooks alleged unwanted kissing and groping. Ivana Trump made an R allegation in a divorce proceedings. Temple Target, former Miss Utah, U.S. allegations inappropriate kissing. Summer Vervos, former apprentice contestant, alleges sexual misconduct, pursued defamation claims. Former apprentice contestant. Stacey Williams, former model, alleges Trump groped her in the early 90s, reported in the media. Other women totaling 25 to 28 named accusers. What? What? Right, so then I was like, right, mate. Right, ChatGPT, you gotta fucking do your job. Right? I was like, you need to expand. Other women totaling 20 to 25 named accusers. I was like, expand. Look at the expanding! What the fuck? What the fuck? Holy shit! That's a rap sheet of accusations, bro. That is spicy, brother. So we're going to take a look at this, right? Because obviously, we're not all fucking idiots. Bitches be crazy at sometimes. And money and power and being able to twist and drain some funds isn't out of the question. Sorry. I'm just being real here. But not all of them. Fucking hell, mate. Right. So E. Jean Carroll, alleged incident mid-90s. Details. Carroll accused Trump of essay in the Bergedorf Goodman department store dressing room in Manhattan. Jessica Leeds. Leeds stated Trump groped her in a flight, including grabbing her breasts and attempting to put his hand up her skirt. Rachel Crooks. Crooks said that Trump kissed her on the mouth without consent when she was a receptionist at the Bay Rock Group. Harth alleged repeated unwanted advances, including groping and pushing her against a wall. She filed a lawsuit in 1997 and was later dropped. Former Miss New Hampshire said that Trump hugged her a little low on her back and walked through dressing rooms while contestants were undressed. Former Miss Washington claimed that Trump repeatedly grabbed her buttocks and invited her to his hotel room. That's Cassandra Sears, sorry. Bridget Sullivan was the one before that. Jill Harth before that, excuse me. Jessica Drake. Drake alleged that Trump forcibly kissed her and two female acquaintances at a golf event. Mindy McGilvery reported that Trump groped her behind the Mar-a-Lago, okay? Christine Anderson, aspiring model, said that Trump put his hand up her skirt and touched her freaking lady parts through her underwear in a Manhattan nightclub. Kathy Heller. Heller alleged Trump forcibly kissed her on the lips at Mother's Day brunch in Mar-a-Lago. Temple Target. Former Miss Utah said that Trump kissed her without consent at the Miss USA pageant and Trump Tower. Former Miss Finland said Nini Laxonen nailed it. Nini freaking smashed it. Former Miss Finland said that Trump groped her during a photo shoot. Karina Virginia, former model, alleged that Trump grabbed her breast while she waited in a car. Amy Doris claimed that Trump assaulted her outside a bathroom in his VIP box, including groping and forced kissing. Maria Belado, former Miss Vermont teen USA, said Trump walked into the dressing room while girls 15 to 19 were naked. Samantha, this is fucking wild, by the way. Samantha Holloway, Miss Northern Carolina, alleged that Trump treated women disrespectfully and barged into dressing rooms. Former apprentice contenders accused Trump of aggressive kissing and groping. She sued Trump for defamation. That's Summer Zerzo's. What? What do you mean there's 19 to 27 plus additional women? I'll keep those to yourself. Okay, so what if it was Rodney? Okay, what if it was Rodney from the calf? At what point are you like, Rodney, mate? Okay, I'll tell you what, Rodney, right? Maybe all these women are crazy, right? At least you're not associating with anyone, right? That's the wrong fucking thing, bro. You tried to do something suave there and you fucked it right up. Fucked it right up, bro. God, that is fucking bright, bro. Here we go. So here's an interesting one, right? Epstein victim was contestant in Donald Trump's teen beauty pageant. A victim of Jeffrey Epstein testified during Ghislaine Maxwell 2001 trial that she was once a contestant in President Donald Trump's teen beauty pageant. Right, listen, we're getting a bit like, how are we going to sweep this under the carpet? How are they going to do this? Because obviously we have the long friendship between Epstein and Trump, with several images of Trump at events with Epstein. We've had, I do believe, was there not a young girl who was a masseuse at the Mar-a-Lago that was underage that went to work for Epstein? I'm pretty sure there was that too. But this is crazy. Let's see if we've got any more names. Oh my God, are these different names? This is more women, right? Yeah. Alva Johnson. Bro. Alva Johnson, former Trump campaign staffer, who said she avoided a kiss by Trump during a tour. I mean, that's not too crazy. Alleged Trump forcibly kissed her on the jaw. See, this is wild. People are saying that Trump pushed her against a wall and forcibly kissed her at Mar-a-Lago. Former Miss Anatolia alleged Trump entered the dressing rooms. I don't know if these are the same names. Sometimes spelled Rachel Cruz. I think individuals in some reports alleged Trump kissed her. Okay, so what we've got here is a clear indication of crossing of boundaries, right? A clear indication of, I can do whatever the hell I like, kiss you, put you up against a wall. Pretty fucking narcissistic, predatory red flag signals, okay? Then we have individuals connected to Trump's events that are turning up as victims. We now have a testimony from a former U.S. Army individual, Sasha Riley, talking about how Trump is a monster. He was killing puppies. He was doing just the most hideous things to him and children and all the rest of it. And then I decided I wanted to hear what the other side, like, for example, for me, the woman who was conducting this interview, this lady here, I could tell by her tone that she was completely anti-Trump and not sitting on the fence of journalism throughout the interview. So I thought, I wonder what other people that don't like Trump have to say about not liking Trump, right? And there was this. Now, this is weird. This is weird, okay? This is Donald Trump talking about the Syrian Prime Minister. No, it's not. It's fucking no sound at all, pal. All right, hang on. Like, listen to this.
Young, attractive guy, tough.
President.
Great. Right. I think very good. Young, attractive guy, tough guy. You know.
What? Like, who talks like that? Like, if I just met the prime minister of a country and it was a woman, and I was like, yeah, she's tidy. Would smash. Would smash. Also, politics. What is that? Like, what is that?
Leader.
This is who he's talking about. Here, by the way.
How did you find the Syrian president?
Great. Right. I think very good. Young, attractive guy, tough guy.
What the fuck is that? So, can we take a conclusion from this? That was that a Freudian slip? Was that an actual moment during an interview that Trump had where he was lusting over this individual and the chemicals in his brain didn't catch that coming out his mouth? I know he's often talked like that, right? But again, you know when you see pictures of Jimmy Savile now, after we know what we know, it's just odd, okay? It's odd. It's an odd one. Does it mean anything? Does it bollocks? I'm just merely saying that was a bit weird. I mean, he's a quirky guy. I get that. But also, do you know what else? All of this! All that! Look at that! So, all of that, okay, let's say 90% of it, 80% of it's true. Let's 75% of it's true, okay? And the other 25% you can pick at random, that we'll just throw them in the equational demographic of they got it wrong, just for the argument's sake, right? 75% of this is masses of accusations. Some of them more serious than others. All kinds of assaults are serious. Don't give me your pesh, okay? But, you know, avoiding a kiss, definitely less of an attempted attack than, you know, murdering kids. Okay? There's a gap there. So it's interesting because if it was Rodney down the cafe, at this point, we've just learned about all of his fucking accusations, some more serious than others. We've got a testimony from an individual who says he's a fucking monster. But then we flip the coin over, right? We flip the coin over and we have Virginia Giuffre, right? We have Virginia Giuffre, who says the opposite about Trump. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean much either, because Riley mentions that it was layers of party, right? So individuals like Prince Andrew or the Clintons, for example, may have only wanted to be involved in the R-ing of teenagers at these parties, okay? Because according to Virginia Giuffre, Trump was never horrible to her, right? But when we talk about a little boy, maybe there's a good reason why he was so nice to Virginia. It's just wild. It really is freaking wild. But I'll tell you this. If they don't release all these Epstein files, America's fucking cooked. Okay? Cooked. And America being cooked should fucking terrify all of you. Imagine you're an insane global billionaire who's in charge of a fucking America, and it turns out you're a goddamn monster, and you're just headstrong on just invading the world and expanding the American empire. Because make sure you understand that's what we're talking about, the American empire. And I made jokes last year. Man, about how traditionally you have to start wars as a president in America to avoid accountability for your shit. Distractions. Insurgents. Brilliant distraction. And they never done that with the Epstein files. They just tried to hide it straight away, and I said that. And look at what's fucking happening now. Like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, years from now, people are going to like go back through my YouTube content, clip things that I've said a month, 12 months, 6 months before they came to fruition later and we mentioned them. And I'm going to die as like Nostradamus, the Wish.com Nostradamus. I'm telling you now, man. Data patterns do not fucking lie. I predicted this woman was going to not be here anymore. I predicted exactly how she wasn't going to be here anymore. We took apart the entire fucking case. Nothing about it was real. Nothing about her case was real. It's wild. Nah, I'm not a prophet. I just know data points, bro. It's not that deep. It's not that deep, but history repeating, right? Oh man, Kat. Butthurt about not getting a Nobel Peace Prize is the understatement of the fucking year, bro. That is the understatement of the year. How goddamn, like, do you know how butthurt he was? Look at what's happening. Okay? This is an O'Doyle's rule situation. It really is. But yeah, the Nobel Peace Prize thing was wild. Right, let me just get my show notes. Done that. Right, what is this?
Donald Trump is
okay, so here's, hang on. I want to point out as well that what was interesting in searching through individuals who are criticizing Trump, right? It's interesting some of the things that you learn.
Thinks that if he just goes radio silent, if Lara Trump, his daughter-in-law, starts posting photos of Donald Trump with their granddaughter on the golf course, or if Donald Trump just starts posting about invading Greenland and now...
Dum-dum, this is the fucking president of America. Do you, like, what do you think you're achieving here? Yep, exactly. Thank you, Crispy Bacon. Thank you. Yeah. We're moving up. We're applying the technology of the early 1700s to this whole stream now. Notes, writing stuff down, new stages. I'm telling you, it's the second fucking coming, bro. Third, fourth coming of Ron. It's happening. It's happening, baby.
He's going back to talking about invading Canada. Maybe we'll all forget about Donald Trump's cover-up.
No, I'm not.
Of the Epstein files. We are not forgetting. Let's be crystal clear. Now, one of the things that we're learning as well is that the Trump regime is blaming the Epstein files. Let's
see if a Mr. Potato Head became a person. I think he could pull it off. Like, if we just slap the little fucking legs here and here, he's basically 90% Mr. Potato Head right there.
Be crystal clear. Now, one of the things that we're learning as well is that the Trump regime...
Anyway, so why was I doing this? So, oh yeah, the point of this was, the thumbnail of this was like Trump in the golf cart with the little girl blurred out and then alluding at crimes towards kids. And it was a tasteless use of twisted narrative, sadly. And you got to kind of watch out for that. I've mentioned it so many times when it comes to child abuse material that's reused as propaganda for political parties and war propaganda and all of this. I've talked about it multiple times. And it's kind of wild. Now... Okay, I think this is the part I wanted to show you guys. Here we go.
From the New York Times. The day after Nicolas Maduro, the ousted Venezuelan president, was arraigned in federal court, the prosecutors handling his case faced a daunting task. Their challenge had nothing to do with narco-terrorism charges. It said that their work had been diverted to apparently the Epstein file document review. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a letter that nearly 2/3...
Also, some of these people are fucking mad, right? Some of these people that Trump has in his party are... that, like, I don't know if Trump has their fucking kids or their husbands or wives in a basement somewhere, or if they're fucking bonkers, or if Elon Musk just made them, right? I'm not sure. But man... there are some ride or die motherfuckers, okay?
Of the 200 lawyers in that office, the Southern District of New York were spending all or most of their workday reviewing the Epstein file.
Because here's another fucking thing, people. Like, you could take all of those printed out Epstein files, all the photographs, right? Run it through an AI system that would take all of the photographs of the words and turn it into text documents, so that then you could, Control F and search the document for names rapidly. You know they've done that, right? Okay? You know they've done that. And the reason that they've released the Epstein files in the way that they have publicly is the most convoluted way of going through media you've ever fucking seen in your life. Okay? Like, look at this shit. Like, there's like pages and pages of this. You just got to fucking click through it all. Wow. Oh, wow. Actually, well, that's Epstein. That's the man himself, or a victim. Either way, okay. It's just convoluted beyond all possible recourse. Having to click on individual files to see one file. This should have been a solid PDF per download, and we should be able to now scroll through pages of it. It's a pain in the balls. That's later. What the fuck are we doing here? Why am I clicking through shit? Epstein files. Okay. We've done this, we've done that. We've talked about Potato Head, we've done the factual, we've fucking gone on about that. We've looked at Biggs. All right, where's my notes? Okay, so I just want to talk to you a little bit about technology and where the world is at with some things that you guys might know nothing about. And I just want you to listen to what this gentleman has to say. Not this gentleman or the gentleman down here. Neither of these gentlemen.
Is this real?
Pegasus is real.
This guy right here, okay? This guy right here is one of the founding members of the original club that wore the masks, okay? The original group that went after bad people. He is probably the smartest person in any room he goes into. And he's about to talk about the Mossad's Pegasus system. And I want you to listen to this, iPhone users, okay?
Is Mossad Pegasus real?
Pegasus is real, yeah. That is absolutely a real thing.
Can you go into detail what that is?
What is Mossad Pegasus?
The NSO group in Israel designed an exploit that they can send to your phone number, with an iPhone at least,
and gain full access to your phone, meaning your camera, your photos, your text messages, every single thing on your phone that you have access to and more, and you will have no idea that it's on your device.
So we don't really need an Epstein or a Diddy anymore then, right? We just need access to your phone. What better way of getting blackmail, right? Than just being able to tap into everybody. Okay? Let's just hear that.
That is absolutely a real thing.
Can you go into detail what that is?
What is Mossad Pegasus?
The NSO group in Israel designed an exploit that they can send to your phone number, with an iPhone at least, and gain full access to your phone, meaning your camera, your photos, your text messages, every single thing on your phone that you have access to and more, and you will have no idea that it's on your device. It's really dangerous.
Wow. And how do you prevent it?
You can't. Don't use an iPhone, or don't let your number get leaked. I mean, there's nothing you could do.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's considered a zero-day exploit, and also a zero-click, meaning you don't have to interact with the phone at all.
Right? That is the correct response to that. It's bonkers what is out there. And what else we got here? Done that one. Done that one. Okay. Okay. All right. So apparently, one of the surviving officers of the Venezuelan army has recovered and has given a alleged testimony. And I think we all need to hear this because this is mental.
Security guards that was loyal to Nicolas Maduro has come forward, and they have told their story of what it was like when America attacked. The security guard, on the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything coming. We were on guard, but suddenly all of our radar systems shut down without any explanation. The next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. Interviewer, so what happened next? After the drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but there were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men, but those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything that we had fought before. And then the battle began. Yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds a minute. We couldn't do anything. And then your own weapons, didn't they help? No, they did not help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear I've never seen anything like it. Oh my God.
Okay. So, if that's true, okay, just another survivor's testimony there. If that's true, and what Riley is saying is true, we are fucked. There will never be another president in America, ever. This is some Kim Jong-un era shizness that we're pivoting into. It's mad. It's mad. Like, if all of this turns out to be true, we are fucked, bro. Like, we are goosed. Ghouly goosed. And that's before you take into account, like, all of the whistleblowers that most people say are crazy, right? But they're from the category of awakened whistleblowers that talk about these weapons, that talk about things that most people can't even get their head around. But if we're in an era where America can send in 20 dudes, take no casualties, make your head feel like it's going to explode, and all of our weapons mean nothing, that's not good. I mean, I know I'm simplifying, right? But that's not good. That ain't no goodness. So if we suddenly see like one of these ISIS style like montage videos, you know, because if Trump, you know, he's going to tweet out, you know, we're going to see. In fact, I'm going to call this now. I think within the next 6 months, we are going to see the compiled footage from that attack in some sort of YouTube short montage tweeted out by the president, showcasing his weapons and his new tech, okay? In some way, shape, or form. If they continue to withhold all the Epstein files, I think we're just going to see more flexing. I think we're going to see more crazy behavior. Because I'm telling you, mad! Mad! I mean, it really is. It's fucking crazy. But again, nothing's confirmed. But man, I mean, that's some crazy shit right there. It really is. Now, I'm live over on Sean's channel. After this live, you should get a notification for you to go over there. But let's have a chitty chat. Let's chat for, what time is it? 25 past. Let's chat. I'm gonna just slyly open some Pokemon while we're all conversing. Just politely, okay? Because we're looking for that. We're looking for that Charizard. All right, we're looking for that Charizard. Okay, and this is the Chinese set, and we've never opened the Chinese cards before. Why is there a white card? Oh, okay, that's the code card, the Chinese code card. All right. All right. We just want the Charizard. What the back's like? So it's got the English back. Okay, all right. So what do you guys think about all this? What do you think about the Trump controversy? What do you think about the accusations? What do you think about Riley's story? I'm very much, I want all the evidence on this. I need to know more about Riley and the ways that we can put together and clarify his story. That has to be the top priority. And it's not about what side you're on politically. Send some love. Toby! Where's the Toby? Toby! Where's the boy? Where's that boy? Yeah, we like Toby. At least to try and clarify some of the documented paper trails of anything, you know? We need to start there, because regardless of what side you're on, I think none of us are on the side of Epstein. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens with the courts over the Clintons and how they navigate. Oh, we got a little hit right there. Got a little freaking, little cheeky alt art. Nice one. Absolutely fucking trash card, though. It's going to be interesting. Look, kamikaze drones. Yeah, man. Like, I hear you on the kamikaze drones. They do get cheaper every day. I think the Ukraine showed us quite just how easy it is to jimmy a flying machine of death. Oh my God! Holy fucking shit. Holy shit. I don't know what Pokemon that is, but that's like the box hit right there. Sick. It's the first time I've opened Chinese cards. Nice. All right. That was fun. And like I say, I will be back on Sean's channel like very soon, like in 40 minutes, I do believe. And Sarah said I should turn this song into a video that I played at the end of this yesterday. So I've done that. I'm just going to play it again. Where the fuck is it gone? I've lost it. Give me a second. And it's not in an hour, man. It's 7 o'clock. Half an hour. Yeah, half an hour, yeah. 1 second, please. Oh, I'm such a pain in the fucking ass. I really. Is it, are you sure it's not here? No. All right. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll just go into the back end. That's fine. It's fine. Also, I can turn the lights on and off in here. Where is it? This one. Wait. Nice. All right. So. No, that's not where you. No, that's not the right button either, mate. You're looking real good right now, pal. Right, here we go. So if we go here and we do this. Yeah, this is a video that I put together for it yesterday. Be kind. I just threw it together in like an hour last night just so you had something to look at when this is playing. I will see you all over here tomorrow. I'll see you over on Sean's channel. We've got 2 live streams tonight. We've got Dr. Poe and I do believe John Wedger. And then I'm fucking raiding, baby. I will see you all over there. Love you guys. Peace. Let me know what you think of this.
Shadows on the walls, breathing in my doubts. Every step I stalled, afraid to speak out loud. I want my fear like armor, heavy on my skin, waiting for a savior to tell me how to win. Every mirror, stranger eyes I didn't know, but there was something burning, flickering below. I hear it calling in the silence, under the thunder of my heart. A hidden door inside the chaos, a crack of light inside the dark. I am the key, I am the door, I am the storm I've waited for. I was the answer all along, breaking the chains that kept me small. I feel the power in my bones, rising like a burning sun. I was the key in the fire. Now I'm the one. Footprints in the ashes, where the fear once stood. Every step it fractures, every never into could. I taste the silver tension right before it snaps. I turn the lock within me, hear the old world crack. I feel it roaring through the quiet, ripping the silence clean apart. A hidden blade inside my shadow, a battle cry inside my scar. No more waiting, no more asking. Every scar